Welcome to this week's Foundation Friday. I am joined today by Keara Piekanski from Oakmont Capital Services. Thanks for joining me, Keara.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jesse.
No, I'm glad to have you on here. Thank you again for putting on our event a couple weeks ago in your backyard in Philadelphia. That was one of our top events to date. So thank you, and thank you to the Oakmont team for all your efforts there.
Absolutely. It was really fun, and it was an amazing event. So thanks for the platform for everyone as well.
No, not a problem. And you and was it George?
Yes, George is our CFO. I voluntold him that he was presenting with me, so it worked out well.
Well, you guys talked about the Westchester food cupboard, and I wanted to, take a few minutes to record one of these Foundation Fridays on that charity foundation local, center, so we can look to raise a little bit more awareness for that, Keara.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, tell me a little bit about the Westchester food cupboard and how did Oakmont get involved?
Yeah, sure. So, so I'm the director of marketing at Oakmont, and I'm also the chair of the Pennsylvania Philanthropy Committee. We also have a philanthropy committee in our Minnesota office. So we're in, we have a suburban office in, right outside of Philadelphia, and then we also have a more rural office in Albany, Minnesota. But every year at the beginning of the year, we actually poll our employees to say, what are you passionate about? What should we focus efforts on this year? And food insecurity is one that usually, comes up every year. So we've partnered with the Westchester Food Cupboard for about 4 years now. And, why food insecurity? So, according to Feeding America, every county, so 100% of counties in the United States have food insecurity issues. And that translates to 44 million people, 1 in 5 of which are children. So, we really tried to find a way to help our local communities with food insecurity. And that's where we found the Westchester Food Cupboard. And they are less than 10 minutes from our office. They serve Chester County, Pennsylvania, and surrounding areas. But, again, they're never going to turn anyone away, which is also something we love about it. So, we were really just looking to get involved with a local food cupboard, and really find a way to build a partnership. And that's really what we've been able to do over the last couple of years. I am the liaison to the Westchester Food Cupboard. So I speak with their president multiple times a year to figure out, the best times to donate money. They will never turn down money, of course, but, when do we do our food drives? When do we volunteer, to kind of fill in some of the gaps for them? So that's kind of how we give back and how we started partnering with them.
So Keara, from a donation perspective, where do the donated dollars go?
Sure. So that's another thing we loved about the Westchester Food Cupboard. So they're a 100% volunteer organization, and they're a 501c3. So every dollar that is donated to them goes directly to serving their patrons, as well as all of the non-perishable donations. So that was something we loved. Again, it's right in our community. It's giving back. It's helping combat food insecurity. And, we know all of our dollars are being spent on the patrons. The other amazing thing is they have some great services. So they offer monthly shopping trips. So, based on household income parameters, someone can come in, do a shopping trip, get all of their meats, dairy, fresh produce, fresh veggies. They have beautiful breads that are donated, goodies. They also have a lot of household supplies. So I've organized laundry pods and, diapers. So really anything that someone would need to kind of keep their house going, that's what they're doing. And they actually, in April of 2024, their monthly food offering was up 19% over the previous year. So 90% more people utilize the monthly shopping trip. So we're seeing those numbers increase, unfortunately. And that's, again, why we're trying to get the word out and just get additional support for them. They also have a really cool newer edition called the Food Cupboard Express, which is sort of like a mini convenience store. It's open 3 days a week, and anyone can walk in off the street. You just have to be a resident of Pennsylvania. And you can get all kind of things like, a dozen eggs, milk, some household supplies. If you are familiar with the Philadelphia area and you know of the Wawa Sizzly, if they have breakfast sandwiches. So they always have different things that are changing in the express pantry, but they do have a lot of corporate sponsorships as well. So they'll get a lot of donations from grocery stores and different places where they're able to kind of keep that stocked. And it's a great way for their customers to be able to sort of supplement that monthly shopping trip. So they really do do a nice job, like keeping everyone, keeping pantries full, keeping kitchens full at home, which is really nice.
Perfect. And besides just perishable donations or just monetary donations, is there other volunteer efforts that people can do in the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So Oakmont actually has done about 6 volunteer days with the Westchester Food Cupboard. We do it as a volunteer group. OCS gives all employees 16 hours of volunteer time off, or VTO, each year to encourage giving back within the community. But we also like to obviously, do things as a team. So we organize that as well. And again, every year we volunteer at different times. This year we did a spring volunteer day, and we're going to do another one in December because that's what the Food Cupboard said they really need. So, we just work with them. And then, some folks also just volunteer their time here and there throughout the year separately from the group. So, that's really nice too.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I love the, when you brought that up a couple of weeks ago, the vacation, volunteer time off. Was it VTO?
VTO, yes. And it's a thing. We didn't make it up.
Okay. I hear certain things or acronyms and I'm like, huh.
Yeah, we can't take credit for it. The idea, we've just implemented it, which is amazing.
Fantastic. So what can, I guess my last question I have for you is, what can our colleagues in the equipment finance industry, both local to Westchester County, Pennsylvania, and I guess just abroad in I guess in an entirety, what can we do to help support the Food Cupboard?
Sure. So financial donations are always needed. As I mentioned, it's 100% volunteer. So they really rely on donations to keep everything going.
Sure.
And that could be made directly on their website. And individual and group non-perishable donations, food drives are always welcome. And of course, time and talent is always needed. But again, whether it's at the Westchester Food Cupboard or a local food pantry in someone else's area of the United States, just try to have a conversation to see sort of when the need is, there. When can you donate? When can you volunteer? That'll really impact the Food Cupboard positively and also help them serve their patrons. So for instance, this year, the Westchester Food Cupboard in April, they distributed 162,000 pounds of food in that month, and that's the most they've ever done. And that was a 37% increase over April 2023. So the need, unfortunately, is increasing, and that's why anything viewers of this can do to combat food security in their communities is certainly needed. So it's definitely something that's on the rise, unfortunately. But hopefully, those of us who can give back will give a little bit more.
Sure. And those numbers are like, oh wow, that's great. But then the other side, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I think we all know why they're so high, unfortunately. But yeah, and then I believe the Albany group supports a local pantry up there as well.
Yeah, so they support the Albany Food Pantry, and that is again another all volunteer organization that is in rural Minnesota. And again, we as a team, we give back to a lot of different organizations, outside of food insecurity, but this is one of the sort of the charity verticals that we focus on as a combined group.
So, Keara, do you have any additional thoughts on the Westchester County Food Cupboard?
Yeah, so 2 of the things that they do that I really think is, I don't know if it's unique to them, but it's something that impresses me, is, their volunteer staff is really so kind and passionate about what they do. They're always leading with kindness and a welcoming spirit. I've noticed, I've seen people come into the cupboard to shop while I've been there doing volunteer time, and it might be their first time coming to a food cupboard, and they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, and there's absolutely no reason they need to be that way, but they need to feel that way. But I can understand where they're coming from. And the volunteers, they lead them through what they kind of have set up as a grocery store. It's very organized, very clean, it's bright. They have shopping carts, they have tote bags, so they really make it feel like a grocery shopping experience. And that's something where they really even have they have a saying on the wall about leading with dignity. So that's something that was it really impressed me. And it's like, okay, yes, that's the right thing to do, but they are doing it. The other thing that I love is they look at their shopper demographics, and they saw that there were a lot of Spanish-speaking individuals that were using the pantry. So they actually updated their website to have both Spanish and English information. And they also are sourcing food products that are more familiar to those, in those different kind of ethnic groups. So they will have food that they recognize, that they know how to cook with, that they can use in their family recipes, which I think is wonderful too. So the volunteers, like, they just do an amazing job, and I'm so proud that we're affiliated with them as a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, I can see that, right? I mean, it's going into one of those things, especially for first time or multiple times. You're sitting there, and it's hard, but if the more welcoming you can make it, the better. So
absolutely,
kudos to you guys for that, or to them, I guess I should say.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, Keara, I really appreciate your time. Keep up all the great work. Thank you again for a couple weeks ago. Thank you for your time this morning talking about the Westchester Food Cupboard. And, EF Cares is proud to support all of your efforts there.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Hopefully the equipment finance community can do their part and pitch in as well.
I'm sure they will. It's a great community, and I'm proud to be part of it.
All right. Thank you, Keara. Talk soon.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right. Bye.